you let me love you forever, forever? I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
Happy Monday! Welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I am Linda. That is Abby. We are covering all things 90 Day Fiancé, The Last Resort, Season 3, Episode 4. And listen, this is all very juicy. It's all very relationship-based. It's all things that we as grown adults think about, talk about, and deal with on a regular basis. What do you think, Abby?
It is. That's why, like, it doesn't matter to me whether or not some of these are scripted or, if it's already been resolved. I still think it's good to talk through.
I agree. So we opened the episode with Patrick and Thais wondering if her husband is a sex addict. And the doctor asks some very good questions. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting was whether or not he takes no for an answer. And how he paused and then said, well, yeah, I take no as an answer. But it sounded to me, Abby, like perhaps that was something that has been an issue in the past for him. And so that was actually terrifying. I was like, oh.
It was terrifying. And the fact that she didn't go into it a little bit more, I was like, is this something that they explored off screen? And if so, they shouldn't have left that tidbit in there if they're not going to show us what was explored off screen, because it makes her look irresponsible as a therapist.
Because then she goes on to say that she doesn't think he's a sex addict, that he just has a high sex drive. And I thought that was a missed opportunity to explain your whole segment, because you're coming in as the sex therapist and
Correct.
You're giving no one the tools, just your answer. I just thought that was wild.
And consent is a major talking point right now. It's a major issue, and consent does still need to exist inside marriages. There are a lot of people who think that because you're married, it's impossible for the R word to happen. That can still happen within a marriage. Consent still needs to be given freely, not coerced out of someone each and every time, freely and enthusiastically. Because why would you want to go forward with someone who's not enthusiastic? So that did not look good on her to be protecting Thais and anyone else Patrick may come in contact to, and anybody else who's watching. So
yeah, there were no tools given. So that was unfortunate. It was definitely a missed opportunity to also just set yourself up as an expert, because now I'm questioning what you're teaching these people, because we're getting a different vibe from the other therapists where they're exploring and asking the questions, and maybe it was a bad cut. I don't know. Because then he goes on to say that he basically sees it like a sales position, and that he's been a salesman his entire life, so rejection is part of the game. And I was like, see, what? We're not going to talk about this, because that's wrapped in with consent. That's wrapped in with addiction. That's all wrapped in together. Let's talk about this.
Right. It's wrapped into his past steroid use, because people who use for a long time get rage. And he's admitted to having problems with steroids previously. Like, there's much to explore here. And I think Patrick is a good person to explore those things with, because we've seen him be honest in the past about some very embarrassing, things. He's not afraid to say things that don't necessarily make him look good.
That's
So
right.
I think he'd be a good person to explore these with, and would probably be receptive to hearing from the therapist about them. So huge missed opportunity.
Yep. So then they move on to Jenny and Sumit, and we find out that Sumit likes change in the boudoir, and not only in the boudoir, anywhere he sees Jenny, like the kitchen, he gets turned on by that. And it's difficult now because, they're living with his parents. So they don't have the same autonomy that they used to have. And the doctor says in their situation, they're going to need patience, and they're going to need to put in effort, and they're going to need to stay positive. And again, I was like, that's the advice we're giving this grown woman who's 60 plus years old, to have patience and effort. How about, hey, Sumit, like, you guys should be living on your own so that you could have the full autonomy and do all the things that you say you enjoy in your sex life with your wife. But instead, I'm going to just be patient and put in effort and stay positive. Abby, what?
It would have made more sense for her to say, your issues are structural, and that's not something that I really deal with. So what we're going to do today is blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Just tell him to move out. Move out. You all are grown. And I know that I'm a big proponent of multi-generational households, but that's not what's going on over there. Karen Guillermo, their style was kinky and traditional, but he straight out said, I don't think I'm traditional. And I'm just going to continue to say how I feel like there were so many missed opportunities. He literally wants a trad wife. He is telling his wife, Kara, that she, can't do this about her body. He doesn't like that she's showing her body online, making money, la, la, la. And then also she's the mom of his child, all the things. You are traditional. And you don't think that that translates into your sex life, but I bet you it does. And I wanted her to explore that as well. But instead, we basically find out that they both still think about each other in that way. And he's had dreams about her, and he was surprised that he was having dreams about his wife. And then we find out the type of style that she likes that turns her on. But again, nothing else was said. Do you want to add anything, Abby?
I think that something should have been done to ease them into this project together, because we're coming right after the harsh things that he said to her at the dinner table, and Cara is doing way better than me at this dinner table, because she is still being complimentary to him and remembering the good times between them. And I would be a wreck if I was forced to do this right after what he said to me.
Right, like, let's address some of this stuff. I agree that she is really trying. She's really trying, and she's being vulnerable and open. So the sex therapist gives them homework. Shekinah and Sarper, he says that they have a great sex life. It's hot in the bed, and that he's very traditional. He only likes one position, and that's missionary. And that's the only way that he can finish. And he talked about how he used to be focused on his body count. And you guys, we all remember him, and we remember the body count and the 2,500 people he says he's been with. And the doctor was shocked. Everyone was shocked. Everyone's all looking at him like, what? Everyone's eyes are like bulging out of their heads. And although I did think that was funny, I also thought that it was unprofessional for the doctor to react the way she reacted, because you're supposed to, again, be the professional here. And how about not talk about how did you get there? But instead, she talked about the one position that he only likes to do, and she called it sexual percussion trauma where it's only one pleasure pathway. And so she was encouraging him for his homework to explore other pathways. Is that okay?
Is that what we think is really going on?
Of course not. Of course not. Why are we keeping it so surface? Why are we not addressing any of the issues that are on the table? They're being open and honest with you. They filled out a questionnaire and we're just keeping it surface. We're not addressing 2,500 people. Instead, you're shocked. Like, what do I do with that information? I don't know.
So as amateur sex therapist, you and I, what do you think, Linda, is going on with him having this many sexual experiences, but only being able to finish in one position?
I think that when we look at old Sarper, I think old Sarper got his masculinity from other people. A lot of male egos are fragile, right? And so he spends a lot of time thinking about how he looks, what he wears, his hair, all the things. It's all very superficial. And in order for him to feel, in my opinion, my amateur therapist opinion, I think that he then looks elsewhere and he looks to women to fulfill his alpha male persona. And so he equates that with a body count. The more women that can fulfill me, that make me feel masculine, that make me feel like I'm a handsome man, then that's what I'm going to do. And so it was never about the connection with the person. It was just about how many people can feed into my ego so that my ego can be inflated and so that I can feel better about myself. And that goes into even the line of work he wants to do, where, you know, he wants to be a comedian or he wants to be a trainer. It's all about me. And so going back to like, why do I think it's only one position is because he hasn't explored his true sexual freedom. He's just wham bam, thank you ma'am, on to the next. He hasn't explored what actually pleasures him. He just knows what gets the job done.
Very much agree.
Well, all right then.
Pass us our certificates.
Yes, please. So, ooh, girl, Russ and Paola. So she had a whole folder on him and we didn't address any of it. I just, again, missed opportunity. So he, in his little folder that he filled out, he said that he was kinky, but kinky arousing, but vanilla. And meaning he knows one position and that's the only position he knows, that he knows what he's doing. And one of the issues is that he's too quick and he only cares about satisfying himself first. And he's done, and that's it. He's done, kind of roll over, he's done. And Paola has to literally finish for herself. And she says he never tries to get her there. And she's actually really upset about it. All the women in the room, not impressed. All the women in the world, not impressed. First of all, okay, this guy, he has so many issues, Abby, and they're all tied to him blaming Paola for him being like a wussy. What are your thoughts on what he had to say before I go on?
I am trying to understand how Paola has managed to stay with him and stay affectionate with him. Like, she is really forcing this. She is really in a one-person relationship. Because when she came in, when, the show started and she was still very affectionate with him, I thought, okay, they're having a financial issue, very common between couples. But as time goes on, it is a financial issue, it's an ego issue, it's a communication issue. And now we learn that she's not even getting the most basic of satisfactions.
Yeah, it's wild to me. And he blames her for everything. He says, so she just criticizes me. The therapist turns to her as if she's the problem and says, well, why don't you give him feedback? And she says, well, I try. He does it wrong. And so it just doesn't work. He does it wrong, or it just doesn't work. And then he says, well, that makes me feel like you're saying that I'm wrong. Well, she's telling you you're wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it up to her to help you figure out how to do it right? It's your body.
And like, what exactly could he possibly be doing wrong? There is one major location that you need to focus on, and it's not hidden, it's right there. Funny story, off topic, on topic. I told a story about a time when a guy was not very good at this with me, and I actually like reached down and tapped myself and said, mic check 1 2 1 2, to make sure I was on and it wasn't me and it wasn't. And I told that story on Facebook, and that's why me and my mom weren't Facebook friends for 6 years, because she said I was uncouth.
Hey, Tina. Tina said, I'm retired, but I can give Russ some pointers.
I mean, it doesn't really take a whole lot. And there are actually like instructional videos out there. I'm sorry, but I wasn't with the therapist when she said, oh, Paula, how come you haven't given him any feedback? She said she did. She said she criticized him. He's grown. If he cares about her, he could go out and make an effort. But the fact is, he was okay with just getting his and rolling over. And why are we pretending like that's Paula's fault?
Right. And why is it all her fault? You don't work, it's her fault. You feel insecure, it's her fault. You are terrible in bed, it's her fault. When do you own up to who you are and what you're doing? If you're not at work, like, watch videos. We are in 2026. There are so many things online that are for free that you could just watch and learn.
Mm-hmm. And then you could show her. You could show her, here's what I watched today. You want to try this?
I don't understand what's happening here. It seems to me like there's a little bit of laziness. And when you get stuck in a rut, but you're comfortable in that rut, it sounds to me like that's where he's living. And he's living his whole entire being in that spot. And Paola is having to pick up the slack in every area. Like, you're not even going to be good in bed and you don't work?
What I've never, like, I watch videos of women who complain about their husbands on TikTok religiously. I just like the psychology of it. And never have I ever heard anyone talk about weaponized incompetence in the bedroom. This is ridiculous. You shouldn't have a child when you never had an orgasm with your husband. What in the world?
What in the world? The therapist says they're missing romantic, passionate communication. You're missing a lot more than that. That is the bare minimum. But again, are we addressing it? Because it seems to me that Russ got off very easy without addressing any of the issues. Like, he literally says he satisfies himself first and then that's it. He literally said that. Okay. My note says he's a whiner, and I feel like he's living his life like a whiner, and I'm going to need him to buckle up and sort some things out.
Mm-hmm.
Ziad and Rebecca, they have a dynamic sex life, and they like to have it in different places. Their thing is she loves it when he speaks Arabic to her. It just like is a turn on for her. But one of the things that she's not comfortable with, which is what he enjoys, and he says men love it, is dirty talk. And Rebecca says that she's shy to do it. And I thought that that was an interesting thing to say because I feel like uh, your husband, your partner, you should be able to be the most vulnerable with, and you should be able to express your needs, wants, and joys with that person, and you to talk about how you can make those things happen if the two of you are both comfortable with it. So for her to say that she was shy, not like, oh, I don't like doing it, but she was shy to do it, like, what?
I think she was just stuck on feeling like English is not very romantic. I don't know. I could be reading it wrong, but I didn't feel like she was so shy as she was just thinking Arabic and French are very romantic, and English and German just sound like choppy. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like,
I hear you. I hear you.
so maybe she was, that's, maybe I interpreted it wrong, but I kind of feel the same way about English. I mean, like, I'm not with the dirty talking. My ex-husband asked me to call him daddy one time, and I called him his dad's name, and that was the end of that.
That was the end of that. How that is so. What were you thinking?
See,
Your
because I didn't want to do it. I was like,
therapist,
stop.
your therapist certificate is revoked.
English doesn't feel super sexy.
That's so. I, I don't think it's a language thing. I think it's a partner thing. I think that you should be able to talk with your partner when it's just the two of you and in a romantic setting. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know.
You can do it, and Linda's not going to answer that question, y'all. That's okay.
Am I gonna? Absolutely not gonna answer that question.
Yeah.
Mind your business. Um,
You guys tell us in the comments and in the replay, are you with the dirty talk in English, or it only sounds good in a foreign language? And what's your favorite foreign language to hear it in? And if it's French, I agree.
oh, the whole thing. Patrick and Thais, again, the therapist is talking about his high sex drive, and she wants it to be in alignment with Thais's needs. So she does this tantric sex thing called yak yum. And basically, they sit on the floor cross legged, they join heads, they say sexual affirmations to each other. And that is supposed to like bring them closer together. I thought it was interesting because she said there are two phrases that they should say to each other while they're looking to each other's eyes and their foreheads are touched, but she didn't explain why you're saying that. So, like,
She didn't. Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
are we tools here, or are you just giving your opinion? Because you are supposed to explain it so that the other couples can take tools away, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone who's watching can take tools away.
I wasn't quite understanding how this was supposed to help Thais with him having a high side. Like, is this supposed to slow him down? Is it supposed to make him like focus and be intentional a little bit more so that there's more intimacy? Like, I was not understanding. Like, to me, this was just foreplay. It wasn't necessarily helping Thais with him wanting it more than her.
That part. Again, we're not addressing the issues. Tina
Yeah.
says Spanish is the language of love.
Spanish is a good one, but have you ever heard Spanish with a French accent?
This is crazy. Jenny and Submit, their homework was to do what she called Animal Kingdom and Passionate Kissing. Shekinah and Sarper, they had to pick 3 non-missionary positions. Russ and Peo, they had to explore their erogenous zones, and they had to pick 8 parts to explore, and then have to tell each other what that works for them? Yes, no, or maybe. And then this is the only thing that the therapist said about Russ. Russ seems like a lost puppy. Well, if you see that he seems like a lost puppy in his whole entire life, what tools are you giving him to help him sort through that rather than just acknowledging this is what it is and not doing anything about it?
I don't know.
She goes on to say that Russ is not a great lover. Duh. But Paola is a great communicator. Okay, so what tools in their homework are you going to give them so that Russ can become a great lover and Paola can become a better communicator? Isn't that why they're there?
She didn't offer anything, in my opinion.
Well, no, because she didn't. Kara and Guillermo, their homework was to do sexual meditation and hold hands. Again, I would have loved for her to explain to them why that's important, right? Because intimacy starts with just being close to your partner and absorbing their energy and understanding who they are and communicating with them. And sometimes intimacy doesn't mean that you have to go all the way. Intimacy can just be hand holding. It can be a hug. It can be any of these things, can be a slight touch. If she had explained that, because they need to get back to the very basics of why they came together, then I think that this sexual meditation would have been great homework. But she just told them, this is what I want you to do, but didn't follow up on why it was important to do it. And so that was disappointing to me.
Right.
So all the couples go back to their rooms and they start their homework. And I just have to tell you that I just am laughing all over the place. First of all, I don't know what Jenny and Sumit were doing.
Ha!
Oh,
Oh!
I was like, I said, oh my God, LOL, what are those sounds? Patrick and Thais, she comes out in this sexy little outfit. They start to do their homework, which is the same tantric position that they did in therapy, but he was on it and done in seconds. So again, what she was trying to explain to him, we just resorted back to him and his high sex drive, because he didn't change anything about, he got turned on and boom, it was about him and what he wanted to do in that moment. So how is this a couple thing where literally Thais was like, I think he's an addict.
Right. In my mind, they were supposed to be sitting there for a significant amount of time, but I don't know that I can blame Patrick in this instance because it wasn't explained.
Right. You're right.
So
That's fair. But nothing changed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the homework was done, but was it done the way it was supposed to be done? And I agree with you. It wasn't explained. So he's going to do what he knows what to do, how to do.
Mm-hmm.
Sarper and Shekinah, again, I just laughed. I was like, what is that? They were fully dressed. I don't know what was happening, you guys. It was like, I don't know what's going on here. Are we trying, or is this a comedy skit? I'm not sure. Rebecca and Ziad was really interesting to me because I can see how it cannot be romantic, because she was bossing him around. Do this, do that. So and maybe that's their dynamic. But to me, it didn't come across as sexual. It came across as her just being bossy.
Mm-hmm.
What were your thoughts?
I think it's because English is not like, there's a difference between somebody saying come here versus somebody saying Vin. Like, I don't know. I just think English is harsh, man.
It wasn't because she was speaking English, Abby. That was not it. She bosses that man around a lot. No. If she doesn't want to speak English, then she can go and speak Arabic. Go learn
She
Arabic.
can. I would love for her to learn some Arabic and French and communicate with him in his own language. I think that would be a big plus for them.
Mm-hmm. Pale and Russ, they go in the room. They're in two separate corners. He's on the couch, she's on the chair, and they're like disagreeing. So they're talking it through, but they're not agreeing about what they're talking about. He didn't even know about this toy that she had. It was like a whole thing. And I worried because they weren't giving the tools in their therapy session. So they're just repeating the same behavior that they came in with. And that was unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo comes to Kara's room, asks her what she thought about therapy. And she's like, well, we got homework, so she's willing to do it. And she was being open. She's always being open with him. And they both sit on the floor. It's a guided meditation, and they're told to close their eyes. They're told to breathe in unison, feel your partner in the moment, look into each other's eyes after you've managed that. But it went by so quickly that after he's like looking into her eyes, he was told to say, tell your partner you're thankful for them. He says, I'm thankful for you. She starts crying. She says the same thing. And he's like, why are you crying? And she says, well, I don't know if you actually mean that, because you remember he just literally put her down the night before and said she was a terrible mother and that he wasn't proud that that was the mother of his child. So then today you're saying you're thankful for her. And so she cries because she's like, do you mean it, or are you just saying it because you're told to say it? And instead of really answering, he's like, well, did you mean it? And she said, yes, I did mean it. I am grateful. And he says he's got so many hostilities toward her. He's ready to go now. So he leaves. He doesn't even continue on with the homework assignment. And then says it's hard for him to be grateful because she's done so much to be disrespectful to him. There's so much to explore there, you guys. There's so much to explore there. Like when your partner holds resentment to you, it's going to be almost impossible for them to hear you, listen to you, be open to you, because they're stuck in the resentment. So instead of hearing her and being open in the moment, actually being thankful for this moment of vulnerability, he's thinking about how much he resents her. And the crazy part of this whole thing that I don't understand still, Abby, is the fact that she told him what she wanted to do and he was okay with it. She showed up as the person he married and she's still the same person.
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to take ownership in the fact that he decided that he wanted to change how he felt about who she is as a person, and now he resents her for it? When do we talk about that?
This is so upsetting to me, because when he came into the room, I got the feeling, and I could be wrong, that she was looking for some conversation. And so, not to immediately snap into the homework, but just to say, like, we have homework, but before that or something, well, let's do it, Okay, so they get into the homework. She starts being emotional. He offers her no compassion. And when I cry in front of my partner, I don't know how you feel, but if I'm crying in front of my partner, I am basically asking for their affection and their comfort and their attention and their love. And he gave nothing. And so it's upsetting to me that this whole experiment keeps putting her in a position to be rejected over and over again.
I agree with you. There was no grace given to her whatsoever because, again, he's stuck in him being the victim, him being angry, him and his resentment towards her. And until those things get addressed, he's not ever going to be open to giving her any type of grace.
Right. He needs a one-on-one session
He absolutely does. He needs a
with
one-on-one
that.
session.
Yeah, that same male doctor that spoke with Shekinah and Sarper, I think it was, in the separate little breakout session. I think that he should just flat out talk to Guillermo and say, look, we'd love for you guys to work out. We know that everyone doesn't work out, but we'd love for you guys to work out. But one thing I've noticed is that no matter what Cara does, you are upset with her about the photo situation. So if that's not something that you can see yourself putting away, then we're going to end you guys' involvement in this experiment now, because we're not going to continue to subject her to repeated harm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So do you want to move on, or is every interaction with her going to end with you upset about these photos again?
That part. That part. Do you want to reconcile? Do you want to make this work, or do you not? Period. Full stop. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the next morning. Paola comes out with a face mask on. I thought that was hilarious. She's like, okay, let me try to turn you on. And she Harper had a full-on USA outfit. I thought I was in the original 90 Day that's happening now in Timbuktu. That outfit was wild, y'all. Kara and Guillermo are video chatting with Nico. They had a small, nice moment here where they were able to put all the things aside for the sake of their son, and they were showing him a true castle. And that was a nice moment. And I thought, you sat there and said how you're not proud that this woman is the mother of your child. Look at how gorgeous and innocent and intelligent and communicative this child is. She has him 6 days of the week. So where do you think that's coming from?
Boom.
Sarper has some of the cast members working out. I think it's called Boot Laugh, kind of like boot camp, but laughing. He's combining his comedy with his personal training. And I know that he's been in LA and people go to his classes and people say they have a great time. So it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Russ, Paola, Kara, and Samit showed up to work out. Everyone else just went straight to breakfast. And he's telling jokes, you guys. He's telling jokes. He says, laughing helps with the ab contracting. So you're going to build some ab work there. He made a joke that Samit will benefit the most because his abs look like melted marshmallows. When he asked Pilla if she did her homework, she said she didn't do her homework, but she'll try again today. And she didn't do the homework because they weren't given proper direction. That's it. That's it. Now, how do you feel about English breakfasts? Because I got to tell you something. England is not known for their food. Like, you don't go to England and be like, I'm going there on a foodie trip. You go for everything else. You go for the history. You go for the drinks. You go for the people. You go for everything but the food. Everything in England is tan to brown color. Tan to brown. So when they talked about the blood sausages and just beans every day, all day, they weren't wrong.
When they started going in on the breakfast, I was like, whenever that debate comes up about beans for breakfast, I just shut up. As a Mexican person, I eat beans all day long, including breakfast. I mean, like chilaquiles with beans, yes. So I don't say anything about the breakfast beans. Now, the blood sausage, I could do without.
I like beans too. And give me a great breakfast burrito any single day. Let me tell you, I love a breakfast burrito. However, I'm just talking overall in England. The food's just it's like
No.
it's not the business. So I wasn't mad that they were complaining. So as some people are having breakfast, Sarper continues his morning workout and he goes in on Rebecca. He says that Rebecca is a Karen correction officer.
I mean, that was funny.
It is really funny. It's really funny. And he is still holding a grudge against her from the very first therapy session where she went in on him and says if she continues down that path, then it's going to be, quote, mega Karen versus a real alpha. And I wish we could dig into everything that means.
Mm-hmm. You know what I picked up from it that I really, really love for Sarper as a person who, is on his comedy shtick? He is working really hard to learn American slang and idioms and references.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy.
Mm-hmm. Especially as English is your second language. Like, good for him. Good for him. He goes on to say that Rebecca is possessive and territorial and that she complains too much. And she complains especially too much about men. How do you feel about his assessment of Rebecca?
I don't think that his assessment is correct. I do think that it makes for good material for him, and that's what this is. That this is him giving us some of his material for his boot laugh workout. I forgot what it's called. Boot laugh, boot camp, boot
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called.
Boot laugh.
But yeah, and Tina, it did remind me of the laughing yoga that they did. I also thought about that, the laughing yoga that Jenny and Sumit did back in India. It did remind me of that. I would like to go to a workout where I get to laugh. So like, do I think that he really is having all these feelings about Rebecca? I don't really take that seriously.
This is going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue, especially because I saw the preview where Sumit has a big mouth and he's spreading all these things. It's going to come to Mega Karen versus real alpha in his mind. That's what it's going to come to. So we'll see. Last and not least, because his issues are major, in my opinion, is Guillermo. He tells the group at breakfast, so this is the group that didn't go to work out, that he did the assignment, their homework assignment. And when asked if there was a connection, he's like, yeah, but it wasn't the best connection. And this is when Rebecca asked the question that any therapist should have asked him from the beginning. Do you want there to be a connection? And his answer, he doesn't know. He doesn't know. And Shekinah chimes in and says, I don't like how you've been behaving this whole time since you've gotten here. You're not a good guy. And then he says he doesn't feel respected, right? So his wife is selling these pictures online. So now he doesn't feel respected, even though she told him that this is what she was going to do. And he was okay with it. But now that she's popular, he's having a problem with how she's making money. So now he feels disrespected. And so when Shekinah said to him, you have to give respect in order to get respect, I was absolutely in agreement with her. You literally disrespected and put down your wife and mother of your child in front of everybody. And you did it purposely. You did it maliciously. You did it to be spiteful and hurtful, because any woman who's a mother, the biggest thing that they care about the most and forever is their child or children. So for you to say that you're not proud of her being the mother of your child, I mean, I don't know if you could say anything worse. And you knew you were doing it, and you were doing it on purpose.
And he doesn't recognize that was a mean thing to say, because he goes on to say that he's never done anything to hurt her, that he's never raised his voice at her, that he's never said mean things to her. Whenever people start listing what they have not done to you, they've done something to you and they just think that there's other things that are worse. Like, I had a guy tell me one time, I've never hit you. What? What? No, sir. Like, so he is a wolf in sheep's clothing, honestly. Like, he's so mean. He's so evil. Ugh.
Tina says, I think he really checked out and there for the money. Hey,
I don't
Radella.
even think he's there for the money. I think he is here to punish her. I think he is here accomplishing what his goal was, which is to punish her. And if you take a peek, the reason why I say this is not just because of the way he's behaving, but if you go take a peek at their social media, he lets people dogpile on her in his comments. He does nothing to stop it. Meanwhile, in her comments, people are saying hateful, mean things to her. She doesn't respond. But if they say hateful, mean things about Guillermo, she will intervene and say, I love him a lot. There's still a lot of love between us. She still holds on to her humanity, whereas he's tossed his in the trash.
Agree with
Hey,
you.
Becca.
Everyone agrees with you. Tina agrees. Becca agrees. Everyone in the live chat is agreeing with you. Becca goes on to say he's super manipulative. And I want to tell you, there are men out there that they want to dull your shine. They want to dull your shine. And part of that is being a narcissistic personality. So when it can only be about them and they want it to only be about them, then they're going to make it about them, even if it means degrading you in the process. So I think that what we're seeing is exactly what Abby just described. We're seeing someone who wants to literally knock down this woman's shine, period. By any means necessary. And that is an emotional manipulation. It's actually emotional abuse if you really get down to it, because you're only ever saying things to tear your partner down. That's emotional abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick jumps into this whole Guillermo conversation and says, do you know how divorce works here? Which I thought was interesting because they're in England, but he's, Americans just think America goes wherever they are. So
I can't deny that.
It's just so. Do you, Patrick? Do you know how divorce works in England? I don't think so. But I think we're trying to say, do you know how divorce works in America, where you are not? He says that half of the money is yours. Half of Kara's money is yours. You could collect 50% of the profits that she makes online that you are trying to tear her down for. And Shekinah jumps in and says, you know what? I just don't like you, Patrick. She doesn't like Patrick. She doesn't like Thais. And I think that was a terrible thing for Patrick to say. What were your thoughts?
It was a terrible and off-topic thing for Patrick to say. It was also potentially wrong. But I don't think she kind of needed to insert herself here. I agree with a lot of the things that she says, and I appreciate that she wants to defend Kara in this moment. But when you don't like someone and they're saying something ridiculous like that, just tuck it in. You already had this weird interaction with Thais. Just talk to Sarper or your neighbor about how you're feeling right now. You don't need to, Patrick, that's a terrible, I don't think it was necessary. But to tell you guys why I'm saying what he said is potentially wrong, because I don't remember what state Kara is from. I think it's like Washington or somewhere over there in the Pacific Northwest. But it's going to depend on state law, how property is divided. It's going to depend on whether or not they have a prenup agreement. It's going to depend on custody, because custody also intersects with whether or not either parent is going to be owed child support. And so if she has the child 6 nights a week, like she has the child right now, it's highly unlikely that she would have to give Guillermo anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if he was to petition to have more time with Nico, then the judge would know you don't really want more time with him. You just want money.
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing is messy. And I think Patrick should mind his own business and focus on his relationship and stop giving out advice when no advice was needed in this moment. Mind your business, because your business is a mess over there as well.
Right.
So you're having two narcissists talk to each other and encourage each other. It doesn't make sense to me. Go focus
Right.
on your problems. You're focusing on other things so you don't have to focus on your own problems because you're a narcissist. That's it.
Yeah.
Do you want to add anything else? Because that is all I have.
Those are all of my notes, but I thought that we could have a little butt laugh. Okay. You guys, everybody out there, you guys stand up.
What are we about to do?
We're doing a little butt laugh. What did Sarper say? Oh,
Oh,
I hate you. Oh, I love you. Oh, I hate you. Oh, I love you. Oh, I hate you. Oh, I love you. See, I would love a workout class with Sarper. He should go on a workout tour, a workout and comedy show tour.
I bet you he'll do that. I bet you he'll do that because it's a great idea. I'd laugh and work out.
Because I'm like a marshmallow in the middle, just like cement.
Funny to me. All right, you guys, thank you for watching. We will be back soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. If you're watching the replay, definitely hit us up in the comments. We check them out. We respond and all the good things. And we will see you guys so very soon.
Ta-ta.